On the under $3 menu at McDonald's, a McChicken is $2. Because when you're craving a McChicken, you deserve a McChicken. And now that McChicken is just $2 with McValue.
Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher for delivery.
And away we go, episode 1369 of the Al Galdi podcast. It is Monday, July 20th, 2026. It is the start of a work week during which the Washington Commanders will begin their 2026 training camp. Rookies report for 2026 Washington Commanders training camp this Friday, July 24th. The offseason, my friends, is nearly over. In fact, 2 months from today is Washington's second game of the 2026 regular season. Washington at the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday afternoon, September 20th at 4:25. Washington's 2026 regular season opener is at the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday afternoon, September 13th at 4:25. Football season is nearly here. Hello and welcome to this Monday installment of the Al Galdi podcast, on which we talk Washington Commanders on every episode, no matter the time of year. Next segment, a conversation with NFL and college football analyst Dalton Wasserman. He is the co-host of a very good college football show on YouTube, Preferred Walk-On, with Max Chadwick and Dalton Wasserman. The show has more than 35,000 subscribers on YouTube. And Dalton and Max, each of whom used to work for Pro Football Focus, co-authored a PFF.com piece that came out on July 2nd. Headline, quote, PFF quarterback rankings, all 32 starters ahead of the 2026 NFL season, end quote. Washington's Jayden Daniels came in at number 12. With Dalton, we'll discuss what went into Daniels being ranked as the number 12 QB1 in the NFL going into the 2026 regular season, why Dalton still has Daniels as the best of the quarterbacks taken in the 2024 NFL draft, whether the tier of elite NFL quarterbacks consists of 4 or 5 guys, what to make of the NFC East other 3 QB1s, and more. And also on the show, breakdowns of the Washington Nationals and Baltimore Orioles weekends. The Nats, they over the weekend won 2 out of 3 games at the Athletics at Sutter Health Park in West Sacramento, California in a wild series. The O's, they now have won 7 consecutive games. The O's over the weekend swept the 3-game series at the Houston Astros. I'll react to that and to the big news on Saturday afternoon. The O's announcing that starting pitcher Kyle Bradish had agreed on a 5-year contract extension for the 2027 through 2031 seasons. You can hit me up on X at Al Galdi. You can email me the Al Galdi podcast at yahoo.com. You can reach me via writing a review of the podcast on Apple Podcasts. You can write about whatever you want, and I'll read what you write if you give the podcast a 5-star rating. Email from Matthew Pellegrino on unrestricted free agent receiver Stefon Diggs. Writes Matthew, Galdi, how you doing? It's great to hear that you took a well-needed vacation. I follow Stefon Diggs on Instagram and saw that he was practicing at the University of Maryland with what looks like a Commanders player in the background. Any idea who this could be and what this could mean? Thank you for the email, Matthew. I can't speak to the specific photo that Matthew sent, but there was another Instagram photo that I saw. This from trainer Myron Flowers, and the photo was of Diggs and Washington receiver Van Jefferson working out with Flowers in Maryland. Not sure if that was the same workout. I do remain open to Washington signing Diggs. The 2026 season will be Diggs' age 33 season, and he did suffer a torn ACL in his right knee in October 2024 while playing for the Houston Texans, but he last season was good in playing for the AFC champion New England Patriots. Diggs, in playing in all 17 of the Pats' regular season games, had 85 receptions for 1,013 yards and 4 touchdowns on 102 targets, and registered a receiving success rate of 68.6, the best of his NFL career. He, for the Pats, was on his best behavior. We got great intel on that on episode 1329 of this podcast, and speaking with New England Patriots insider Mike Debate of SI.com. Mike made it very clear that Diggs was very good in the Pats locker room and played a key role in the development of Pats quarterback Drake May. And Diggs, of course, is a local. Went to Our Lady of Good Counsel High School in Olney, Maryland, and then went to the University of Maryland. Now, there with Diggs has been a lot of, shall we say, stuff, including him on May 5th being found not guilty of felony strangulation and misdemeanor assault and battery in a 2-day trial regarding a December 2025 incident with his former personal chef. And Diggs, per TMZ, is dealing with multiple civil lawsuits. A man named Nigel King, he this past February filed a lawsuit in which he claimed that Diggs falsely claimed that King stole Diggs's Ferrari and had his friends attack King. B, Diggs this past November sued a man named Christopher Griffith for falsely claiming that Diggs had drugged and sexually assaulted Griffith, who filed a counterclaim alleging that Diggs did indeed sexually assault Griffith in May 2023. Diggs has denied the accusation, and this whole ordeal has included salacious details. Not safe for this podcast details in terms of the accusation from Griffith, including that he and Diggs on the night in question went to several clubs around Washington, D.C., and at one point Griffith ate a so-called candy that Diggs had repeatedly offered, and Griffith says that he shortly after eating the candy began to feel disoriented, and he believes that the candy contained a drug or some drug-like substance. I have no idea how true or legitimate these accusations against Diggs are. He may be totally innocent of any wrongdoing, but these lawsuits are out there. You know, it's funny, we've spent so much time these last few months on San Francisco 49ers receiver Brandon Aiyuk and his desire to play for Washington and where he's at both physically and mentally and what truly has happened between him and the Niners. And there more and more is the sentiment of Washington should want nothing to do with Aiyuk. And I get that sentiment. But, you know, to those who are anti-Washington acquiring Aiyuk, but pro-Washington acquiring Stefon Diggs, understand that there with Diggs is a lot of stuff. In fact, you could argue that there with Diggs is more stuff than there is with Aiyuk. But, of course, the truth matters. And how true this stuff with Diggs is, we don't know. Now, regarding Washington potentially acquiring Aiyuk. So he on Saturday on Instagram put up multiple written posts, including one in which he accused the Niners of engineering a smear campaign against him. Also, we have even more regarding Washington acquiring Aiyuk now being unlikely. Former NFL receiver TJ Houshmandzadeh, he has worked with Brandon Aiyuk, but Houshmandzadeh for months now has been very critical of Aiyuk. This was Houshmandzadeh on a YouTube live stream of his podcast, Speakeasy, late night this past Thursday night.
I ain't going to say this as a fact. He ain't going to the Commanders. Not Aiyuk, it's done. It's over. Stick a fork in it. 0% chance. He ain't going. I want Stefon Diggs. I like Diggs. Do we got problems off the field? Yeah, I mean, he just like to mess with women all the time. That's okay. You just don't let it become a problem. But on the field, I'm taking him. BA, 0% chance that he's with the Commanders now. 0%. And you know, the other day I was like, I ain't no more. I'm certain.
Wow.
Okay, so not that TJ Houshmandzadeh is a reporter, but he clearly is not feeling Washington acquiring Brandon Aiyuk. Houshmandzadeh is feeling Washington signing Stefon Diggs, even though, quote, he just liked to mess with women all the time, end quote. Yeah, TJ, it may be that Diggs likes to mess with men too. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but also, as we discussed on this past Friday's show, episode 1368, ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter, he on his podcast, the Adam Schefter podcast, in an installment that came out this past Tuesday, July 14th, said this about Brandon Aiyuk, quote, I honestly believe that he's scared off teams like Washington, end quote. Also, ESPN NFL insider Jeremy Fowler, he on ESPN's NFL Live last Monday afternoon, July 13th, said that he doesn't think that Washington will be acquiring Brandon Aiyuk. Momentum right now is in the direction of Washington not acquiring Aiyuk. Hey, if you are a Washington Commanders fan, check out bgobsession.com, an outstanding site for discussion about the team, especially as we're approaching training camp. BG Obsession, or BGO, has been going strong since 2009. BG Obsession offers great contests, game day chats, and camaraderie. No politics, just football. Both old school and new school fans are welcome. Visit and join BGO at bgobsession.com and tell bgobsession.com that Al Galdi sent you. bgobsession.com, home to your burgundy and gold obsession. It is a pleasure to welcome back to the Al Galdi podcast, NFL and college football analyst Dalton Wasserman. He is the co-host of a terrific college football show on YouTube, Preferred Walk-On, with Max Chadwick and Dalton Wasserman. The show has more than 35,000 subscribers on YouTube, and Dalton and Max, each of whom used to work for Pro Football Focus, co-authored a PFF.com piece that came out on July 2nd. Headline, quote, PFF quarterback rankings, all 32 starters ahead of the 2026 NFL season, end quote. The top five: number one, the Buffalo Bills' Josh Allen. Number two, the Cincinnati Bengals' Joe Burrow. Number three, the Baltimore Ravens' Lamar Jackson. Number four, the Kansas City Chiefs' Patrick Mahomes. Number five, the Los Angeles Rams' Matthew Stafford. The Washington Commanders' Jayden Daniels came in at number 12. Quote, injuries marred Daniels' sophomore NFL season as he couldn't quite recapture the form that earned him Offensive Rookie of the Year honors in 2024. Playing in just 7 games, Daniels earned a 74.9 PFF passing grade, ranking 18th among qualifying quarterbacks, while his 6.7 yards per pass attempt ranked 27th. One of the biggest reasons for Daniels' struggles in 2025 was his difficulty handling pressure. Opposing defenses blitzed him at a similar rate as they did in 2024, but Daniels' PFF passing grade against the blitz dropped by more than 30 points. Opponents seemed content to force Daniels to beat them with his arm, especially given Washington's lack of pass-catching depth. A healthy Daniels still gives the Commanders a great chance to win every week, but he needs to be available for all 17 games, end quote. Jayden Daniels, the number 12 QB1 in the NFL. How fair is that? What went into that? You can follow Dalton Wasserman on X at CFB_Dalton. Hey, Dalton, how are you?
Oh, fantastic, Al. Great to see you again. And then, when you talk about just everything going on, Preferred Walk-On, like you mentioned, just bumped up to 3 episodes a week. So we're staying busy with that, writing articles, obviously keeping track of the NFL and everything that goes on with that too. So, football season's right around the corner and you can really feel the adrenaline of it coming on now.
Yeah, exciting time of year. A ranking of the NFL's 32 QB1s, a daunting task. What was the methodology for the ranking?
Yeah, so these quarterback rankings, especially, obviously I know a lot of the people over at PFF and they still participate in, the rankings and making, different analytics and data sets for doing things like this. And one of our guys was just so good at making those sorts of things. So basically half of the ranking was based on an analytical model of stats, tons of advanced stats for all the guys in the last 3 years, right? So that was half of the weight. And then there was I think it was 7 or 8 of us that then made all of our own individual lists to decide, okay, how is that going to balance out? What are our opinions of these guys based on what we've all seen on tape and things like that? So it was really a lot of fun with the group to put this all together and see how it averaged out. And yeah, I mean, obviously, there's going to be some that love the results with their quarterback and some that don't, but that's always the case now, isn't it?
So Jayden Daniels came in at number 12. I would imagine that Daniels was one of the hardest current QB1s to rank because his 2025 season was more incomplete than good or bad. He and Washington going just 5-12 in the 2025 regular season, played in just 7 games due to getting injured 4 times. How did you approach analyzing Daniels' 2025 season?
I think not just Jayden, but that entire 2024 class, when you talk about Jayden, Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Bo Nix, I think they were the 4 hardest guys to rank on the entire list, honestly. There's been so many great moments. Drake May didn't get to show much in his rookie year, and then obviously led his team to a Super Bowl last year. Jayden was so good, basically the opposite. His rookie year, going to the NFC title game and being, I would argue, in the MVP race 2 years ago, and last year the injuries kind of marred his season. Caleb Williams has as many good moments as any quarterback in the league, but there's a little less consistency. And Bo Nix has been extremely consistent and just in certain moments, has made some big mistakes and things like that. But I mean, all 4 of those guys, I think were among the hardest guys to rank on the entire list, especially just amongst each other. What order do you just put those 4 in, right? I came out with Jayden Daniels at the top of those 4, although I think I put them all right next to each other when I did my ranking because they've all shown you moments of greatness. They've all shown you even stretches of greatness, and Jayden is no different. It's just that his of those four is the furthest away. We're the furthest away from that because that was in 2024 when he got to show it. Last year, obviously, just the injuries derailed it. The injury to Terry McLaurin derailed it. They only got to play 3 games together all season, and those two are really Washington's 2 best players. So I think when you look at Jayden's ability, we cannot forget when he's healthy how good this guy is, how accurate he is, how dangerous he is with his legs, and just the composure that he plays with against any opponent.
I love stats. I on the podcast have spent very little time discussing Jayden Daniels' stats from last season because I just don't think that they mean that much. To what extent should we just write off his stats from last season?
I would write off most of it. I think one big thing that I want to see him adjust to is when teams start really sending pressure and attacking him, right? Because he's so used to, when he was at LSU, he was the best athlete on the field and he could always get himself out of trouble, right? It was kind of the same way, when nobody knew who he was that first year in Washington, where it was like, okay, if we send him, if we get pressure to him, if we find a way to get the proper blitzes going, he's going to take off and run, right? He's going to use his legs, and as he should, right? He's a dynamic athlete in the same way that, a Lamar Jackson or a Josh Allen is, right, where they can beat you with their legs on any given day. But it seemed like teams were game planning for that more and making him win from the pocket more. So what is his plan? And this really goes for young quarterbacks always mentally. What is the plan when extra pressure's coming, when the complex looks are coming? That's why you don't love to see the missed reps in year 2, because you want to see him play with more of that veteran presence like Allen has picked up, like Mahomes has picked up, like Matthew Stafford's been playing with forever, right? So I think when you talk about the development on the mental side and just the part where so much of playing quarterback is problem solving those more complex problems, you'd love to see him come through with that in a new offense, obviously, in year 3 here.
So with the new offensive coordinator in David Blau, we expect the offense to have Jayden Daniels under center more and have more pre-snap motion, more pre-snap shifting, more play action. What do you think that the new offense will mean for Daniels?
Yeah, I mean, it's a different level of footwork and the ability to see the field from under center. It's just a little bit different, right? It's something he's really never done throughout his career. Always ran spread offenses, especially under Mike Denbrock at LSU. That was 4 wide all the time and just getting after it, throwing it out to the perimeter. But I think the 2 things you think about are, one, like you mentioned, getting under center and just kind of getting used to that, almost like it's almost like a player who's coming from college to the NFL, right? They've talked about this in the Raiders space lately with Fernando Mendoza and having to make that adjustment. Jayden's going to be making a similar adjustment because I think Washington, the last 2 years, if they weren't number 1, I think they were near the top of the league in being in shotgun or pistol all the time, right? It's just what Jayden was used to, so they went with it. But when you look at the adjustment that's going to get made, they're trying to get downhill and run the football more. They're trying to get into play action and throw the ball over the middle more, like Ben Johnson does in his offense, like Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay do, attacking those areas of the field. I think Jayden is fully capable of throwing over the middle of the field. It's just going to be a different set of fundamentals to get him there this time.
Do you think that Washington going with this new offense is wise, or would the team have been better off sticking with Cliff Kingsbury as offensive coordinator?
I think Daniels was such a good fit in Kingsbury's offense that there was a realistic chance that you could have kept Kingsbury and had continued to have success. But I think when you look at the way the league is going and getting under center and playing heavier sets and manipulating personnel, I think this is just kind of the way that this offense needs to progress. And I'm not saying you always need, your quarterback has to adjust in such a rigid way to the system, but there needs to be an adjustment to the trends of the league, right? These teams that are in shotgun, at top 5 and top 8 rates, these are not the teams making the postseason. They're just not. The days of spread football, I'm not saying it's completely gone, but it's a very hard game to play when everybody out there can see the ball and there's not as much deception, right? And the only offenses that can run at the gun, to me, at a higher rate like that are offenses with quarterbacks like Jayden Daniels. And even then, teams are starting to figure out how to play it. And these athletes and teams' front sevens are getting so much better at dealing with these mobile quarterbacks. You're even seeing it with guys like Josh Allen. He's getting under center more, right? They're running heavy, downhill, multiple tight ends, deep play action over the middle of the field. This is what the league is going to now, and I think you're just going to see more and more teams getting into it.
You said that you still have Jayden Daniels as the best of the quarterbacks taken in the 2024 NFL Draft, in which 6 of the first 12 players taken were quarterbacks. Why do you still have Daniels as the best of the bunch?
I mean, to be honest with you, I've had him QB1 amongst that group since that draft class, right? And these are razor thin margins with different types of players you're talking about. So honestly, if anybody wants to argue against it, I get it, especially with what we saw in 2025. But I still love the dual threat athleticism is unbelievable. To me, his legs can be an absolute game breaker on any given day. He's accurate. I've always loved his mechanics. They're just so smooth. He's a great perimeter passer, and he's a guy, again, who just stays cool in big moments. Now, there are times when I'd like to see him, obviously not take so many hits, not try to be the hero all the time. And those are things he's got to learn as a young quarterback. But that really, it's all the same things that drew him to me as a draft prospect when I had him QB1 back then. It's very close. I could see, considering the resume of the four guys that we've seen play so much, the last 2 years, that I could see any of the four of them taking the top spot. I'm going to still lean towards Daniels, but boy, it could change any given week. It feels like that's how close it is.
We're talking with NFL and college football analyst Dalton Wasserman. He has co-authored a PFF.com piece, headline, quote, PFF quarterback rankings, all 32 starters ahead of the 2026 NFL season, end quote. I mentioned the top 5 QB1s in the ranking. Number 1, Josh Allen. Number 2, Joe Burrow. Number 3, Lamar Jackson. Number 4, Patrick Mahomes. Number 5, Matthew Stafford. The general perception the previous few years was that the tier of elite NFL quarterbacks consisted of a big four of, in some order, Mahomes, Allen, Jackson, and Burrow. Is the big four now a big five? Matthew Stafford, as he enters his age 38 season, but is coming off winning the Associated Press NFL MVP award for the 2025 regular season, is he now part of the elite tier of NFL quarterbacks?
Right now, the way that usually I'm in the boat where those first four you mentioned, Allen, Burrow, Lamar, and Mahomes, those guys, those need to be the top four in any order that you put them in any given moment. I personally had Mahomes at 2, and then Burrow and Jackson. But in any order you could put those guys in, I think that's the top 4. Stafford, the way that he played last year, he is in that group. I would put him in the first tier. The year before wasn't quite as great. It's been a little bit of every other year, but he's shown so much with the Rams that I think he's clearly, I had no issue at all putting him in number 5. So it's either he's in a tier of his own at number 5, separated from 6 and below, or I'd have no issue if you want to call him a first-tier quarterback with the year that he's coming off of, the way he carried that Rams team last year. I have no issue with that. I mean, Stafford, he just won the MVP. He's been so good, and obviously there's a reason this Rams team is loading up right now to do it, because they're trying to see how much more prime football he's got left to play. But with that team he's got this year, if he plays the way he did last year, he's in that first tier, and he is really the Super Bowl contender out of this group.
Who isn't in the top 5 of the PFF ranking of NFL QB1s, so you could see being in the top 5 a year from now?
Wow. I mean, you look at this, there's a handful to me, any of those 2024 guys. I mean, another year 3 breakout, Jayden Daniels getting back to, what he was 2 years ago and getting Washington back to the postseason. Caleb Williams just playing a little more consistent. Drake May, the playoffs, it kind of fell apart on him a little bit, but Drake May was so good last year. Let's see what he does with a tougher schedule. Bo Nix, I think, just doesn't get enough credit for how consistently solid that he's been if he gets back from the injury. And the one other guy I'm going to throw out there who plays on a loaded offense, and if only his defense could help him out a little bit. I think I know the postseason, the lack of success is what it is, but Dak Prescott, 2 years ago, I believe it was, he had the injury. 3 years ago, he was second in MVP voting. Last year, if Dallas made the playoffs, you could have put him second or third in the MVP voting last year. Dak Prescott is somebody I think could be in for another big year, and he just needs some help from his defense so he doesn't have to score 35 points every week.
The 4 QB1s of the NFC East, 3 of them are in the top 15 in this PFF ranking of NFL QB1s. Number 8, the Dallas Cowboys' Dak Prescott. Number 12, the Washington Commanders' Jayden Daniels. Number 15, the Philadelphia Eagles' Jalen Hurts. And number 25, the New York Giants' Jackson Dart. You discussed Prescott. What about Hurts? He might be the most difficult quarterback in the NFL when it comes to answering the question of, is he good or isn't he good? Where are we with Jalen Hurts?
This is a hard one. Jalen Hurts, other than those 2024 guys, Jalen Hurts the hardest guy to rank on this whole list, because when you look at the overall body of work, I think I had him on my list at number 9 or 10. When you look at the overall body of work, there is such a high floor for what he gives you. Basically last year, he threw 6 interceptions last year. 4 of them were in one game. He basically doesn't turn the ball over. He's very safe with the football. What he can do, he can do it at a pretty high level. The problem is there are certain moments where you see him, you watch him against better defenses and in spots where his team really needs him, and you go, is this someone like some of those top 5 to 8 guys on this list? Is this someone who can carry his football team? We haven't seen that too much, right? Really, the 2 best games of his career have been the 2 Super Bowls he's played in. But otherwise, it can be kind of inconsistent and feel like, okay, is he more of a cog than a guy who can carry you? But also, when you look at the season-long stats every year, you go, yeah, this is probably a top 12 quarterback. Like, there's just such a high floor with them, but there's sometimes the ceiling doesn't always get there. And I do worry a bit about the rushing ability starting to diminish a little bit here. So Hurts, he's the hardest guy to rank because he's very hard to beat because he's so secure with the football. It's been like that going back to his days, even at Alabama. He never turned the football over, and he doesn't often lose you football games. But then you go into the matchups against some of these more elite quarterbacks and you go, okay, the other team has the quarterback advantage. It's very hard to figure out, and it's going to be fun to watch his adjustment without A.J. Brown now, and maybe it's an offense that's going to try to throw over the middle of the field more. He doesn't love doing that, right? So I think he's going to have to adjust, and that's going to be one of the biggest stories in the NFL this season is Jalen Hurts adjusting to life without A.J. Brown and with Sean Mannion as his new offensive coordinator. What is it, like 9 years in a row with a new offensive play caller for him? So, he's used to adjusting, but this is going to be a different animal now.
Are you more bullish or bearish on Jackson Dart?
I'm probably a little more bearish. The high-end moments are fun. The scrambling ability, the athleticism is fun. But I am not entirely sure about this fit in Matt Nagy's offense that is so predicated on quick throws and getting the ball out quickly. And, you used to see that with Patrick Mahomes, where it was like, okay, we need to, get the ball out on time. It never really worked in Chicago for Nagy. And now with Dart, and Malik Neighbors, that injury is very concerning to me because it doesn't feel like he's 100% guaranteed to be available week 1. But Dart's also got to protect himself, right? You can't get checked for, a concussion 5 times in a given season. So there's a lot there. You love the energy that he brings. You love the competitiveness, the athleticism, the ability to throw the deep ball is big time. But there's a lot when it comes to accuracy and just playing on time that he's kind of got to get better at, right? It's almost like a little bit like Caleb Williams coming out of his rookie season where you go, there are moments where you go, hey, this kid might be it. And he's bringing the big play ability and he's bringing the energy. But I need a lot more in between the lines here, right? I need a lot more of, I call it the normal stuff done right. It's going to be a fun task to see what John Harbaugh and Matt Nagy can do with Jackson Dart. He's very, very raw. I'm a little more bearish, but I was also a little more bearish on him coming out of college. Let's see if he can change my opinion this year.
Final question, a college football question, if you don't mind. I went to Maryland. We have a lot of Maryland fans who listen to this podcast. Maryland's QB1, Malik Washington. He last season had an up-and-down true freshman season, although a lot went into that, including the Terrapins' rushing offense being terrible. But he was a consensus 4-star recruit out of Archbishop Spalding High School in Severn, Maryland. He this past December decided not to transfer, so he's back for a second season as the Terps QB1. Maryland head coach Mike Locksley, whose seat would seem to be piping hot. He this past February 18th announced several additions and updates to his coaching staff, including the hiring of Clint Trickett as offensive coordinator / quarterbacks coach. Pep Hamilton, who spent the 2025 season as Maryland's offensive coordinator / quarterbacks coach. His title now is special assistant to the head coach. A lot to take in with Malik Washington. Bottom line, what do you think that Maryland has in Washington?
I think they have a quarterback with a boatload of potential, right? And they really need to build it around him, right? The receiving core this year especially, I think, is a little bit concerning considering the guys that they lost. But Washington himself, I think you could argue as far as just pure arm strength, he might have a top 5 arm in the country. He has got an absolute rifle that is the ability to make any throw on the field. It's not something you can say with every college quarterback. Washington has that. There are 5 to 6 throws a game where I'm like, man, that this kid could be special. He really could be. He's got to work on a lot of the things that younger quarterbacks have to work on, getting the more consistent mechanics going, dealing with pressure, just in general, the accuracy needing to be a bit better. So there are moments where he looks like an elite quarterback. There are moments when he gets hot, say a drive or two per game where you go, wow, this kid's got it all. He's got all the tools you could ask for. He's a solid athlete, just working on a lot of the little things. So, a lot of the things that I would define as his flaws right now, I would just say, those are a lot of the young kid flaws, right? Playing the entire season as a true freshman, a tough year, keeping the composure the whole way and still firing downfield and making some absolutely unbelievable throws. There's a lot of potential there. You got to build it right around him, because in college football nowadays, especially with quarterbacks, if you don't build it right around them and then you have turmoil in your roster, your coaching staff, these kids will leave and somebody else will figure out what to do with them. So I think it's big for Mike Locksley this year to really unlock this kid's potential, because there's so much in there and you got to see so many flashes of it last year.
NFL and college football analyst Dalton Wasserman. Dalton, thanks. All the best.
Absolutely. Good times as always, Al. Appreciate you.
All right, 2026 Washington Commanders training camp is coming. Rookies report this Friday, July 24th. Veterans on July 28th. Football season is coming. If you would like to grow your business or practice, consider advertising on this podcast. We're offering great deals in honor of the coming football season. Podcast advertising is very affordable and works. Put the power of the pod to work for you. Get your message out there to thousands of successful people in the Washington, D.C. area. Grow your business or practice. We'd love to have you on board. Email us to see what we can do for you. The email address is the Al Galdi Podcast at yahoo.com.
Hi, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. Are you looking for a beach read this summer? May I suggest your big wireless bill? It's got suspense, mystery, a slightly flat, emotional arc, and a shocking twist where you realize you've been overpaying the entire time. Fortunately, though, Mint's story is better. Every plan, $15 a month, even unlimited. That's it. Happy ending. Zero tears.
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
Well, we as Washington, D.C. area sports fans know a thing or two about teams changing names, right? The Athletics, they for a second consecutive season are just the Athletics or the A's. The team for these last two seasons has no official state or city. The team is just the Athletics or the A's. The team was the Philadelphia Athletics for the 1901 through 1954 seasons, the Kansas City Athletics for the 1955 through 1967 seasons, and the Oakland Athletics for the 1968 through 2024 seasons. The team eventually will be, we believe, the Las Vegas Athletics, but for now the team is just the Athletics. The A's right now are playing the majority of their regular season home games at Sutter Health Park in West Sacramento, California. Call the A's what you want, but the Washington Nationals, they over the weekend won 2 out of 3 games at the A's in quite the series, in quite the ballpark. Sutter Health Park is a minor league ballpark in which hitters feast. Late night on Friday night, the Nats won at the A's 23-4. Yes, the final was Nats 23, A's 4. The 23 runs are tied for the second most runs by the Nats in a regular season game in Montreal Expos / Washington Nationals history. But late night on Saturday night, the Nats lost at the A's 15-1. So game 1 of this series was a 19-run win for the Nats. Game 2 of this series was a 14-run loss for the Nats. And then Sunday, a 5-2 win at the A's. The Nats in this regular season now are 50-50 with a run differential of plus 15. The A's in this regular season now are 42-57 with an MLB worst run differential of minus 114. The Nats offense in the team winning 2 out of 3 games at the A's in West Sacramento over the weekend. Outstanding in game 1, bad in game 2, and good in game 3. The 23-4 win at the A's late night on Friday night. The Nats were sensational offensively. 23 runs, 21 hits, which were 4 home runs, 6 doubles, and 11 singles, 6 walks, a scorching 13 for 17 with runners in scoring position. The Nats did strike out 13 times, but who cares when you score 23 runs? The Nats scored at least 3 runs in 5 different innings. Andres Chaparro, he had 8 RBI, becoming the first Nats player to have at least 8 RBI in a regular season game since first baseman / third baseman Mark Reynolds had 10 RBI in an 18-4 Nats win over the Miami Marlins at Nationals Park on July 7th, 2018. Chaparro, as the Nats starting first baseman and number 3 batter, went 4 for 5 with a 3-run homer, a 2-run homer, a 2-run single, an RBI single, and a walk. Harry Ford, he in his first MLB regular season game for the Nats was their starting catcher and number 6 batter. He went 2 for 5 with a 2-run homer, an RBI single, and a walk. Not bad. The Nats on Friday afternoon announced having recalled Ford from AAA Rochester. Dalen Lyle, he is the Nats starting left fielder and number 7 batter, went 2 for 4 with a 3-run homer and an RBI single. Lyle in a Nats 5-run ninth had a went-out 3-run homer to center field for a 23-2 Nats lead. The homer went a projected 412 feet per StatCast and did come off an Athletics position player and outfielder Carlos Cortez, who was their starting DH and number 1 batter in this game. Also, Curtis Mead, he is the Nats starting third baseman and number 2 batter, went 4 for 6 with a 2-run double, an RBI double, another double, and a single. So we in Game 1 of this series had all of that, but then came the 15-1 loss at the A's late night on Saturday night. The Nats just 1 run, just 4 hits, which were a double and 3 singles, just 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position, 11 strikeouts. The Nats did draw 4 walks, but the Nats struggled against A starting pitcher J.T. Ginn, who tossed 6 1/3 scoreless innings with 7 strikeouts. And then the 5-2 win at the A's on Sunday. The Nats were good offensively, but should have scored more runs. The Nats went just 1 for 12 with runners in scoring position and did strike out 10 times. But the Nats hit for power as 4 of the team's 7 hits were extra base hits, 2 home runs, 2 doubles to go with 3 singles, and the Nats drew 5 walks and 3 hit by pitches and went 6 for 6 on stolen bases. C.J. Abrams, he is the Nats starting shortstop and number 4 batter, went 2 for 4 with a 2-run homer, a double, and a walk. Abrams in the Nats 3-run fifth had a 2-out 2-run homer to center field for a 4-1 Nats lead. The homer went a projected 422 feet per StatCast. Dylan Cruz, he is the Nats starting right fielder and number 5 batter, went 1 for 3 with a solo homer, a walk, and a hit by pitch. Cruz in the Nats 3-run fifth had a 2-out solo homer to left field for a 5-1 Nats lead. The homer had a projected distance of just 362 feet per StatCast. We called that a Sutter Health Park special, but still, Cruz homered, went back-to-back with C.J. Abrams. And Nasim Nunez, he is the Nats starting second baseman and number 9 batter, went 1 for 4 with a single and went 2 for 2 on stolen bases as Nunez in the Nats 1-run third manufactured a run basically on his own. He had a leadoff single into left field despite having been down in the count at 1.02. He stole second base, he stole third base, and he scored on a 1-out RBI groundout by Curtis Mead for a 1-0 Nats lead. Nasim Nunez for this regular season is a sparkling 37 for 41 on stolen bases. He's number 1 in MLB in stolen bases at 37. James Wood did have a rough series. He was the Nats' number 1 batter in each of the 3 games. It was the starting DH in games 1 and 3, was the starting right fielder in game 2. He, over the 3 games, went 1 for 14 with a single, 1 walk, and 10 strikeouts. Still, Wood for this regular season has an OPS of 957. Shortstop C.J. Abrams, 869. Third baseman Curtis Mead, 861. First baseman Luis Garcia Jr., 857. Those are your 4 best Nats batters this season. The Nats starting pitching and the team winning 2 out of 3 games at the A's in West Sacramento over the weekend. Very good in games 1 and 3 and very bad in game 2. The 23-4 win at the A's late night on Friday night. Cade Cavalli allowed 2 runs in 6 innings with 9 strikeouts versus no walks. He gave up 4 hits, which were a home run and 3 singles, threw a lot of strikes, 95 pitches, 63 strikes, just 32 balls. Cade Cavalli now in this regular season, 21 games, all starts, ERA of 3.78, whip of 1.31, strikeouts per 9 innings of 10.23. The 15-1 loss at the A's late night on Saturday night, Zach Littell got rocked. He allowed 8 runs in 6 innings, gave up 8 hits, which were 2 home runs, 2 doubles, and 4 singles, issued 4 walks and a hit by pitch, recorded 4 strikeouts through 96 pitches, 61 strikes, 35 balls. Now, this was a Zach Littell game in which the Nats did not use an opener, and he in the bottom of the first struggled big time. Littell in the bottom of the first allowed 5 runs on a home run, 2 doubles, 2 singles, and a walk. He gave up the homer on his first pitch of the game. Zach Littell now in this regular season, 20 games, including 13 starts, ERA of 5.34, whip of 1.35, 25 home runs allowed, second most homers allowed in MLB. But the 5-2 win at the A's on Sunday, Foster Griffin, masterful again. He allowed no more than one earned run for an 8th consecutive start, tying the Montreal Expos / Washington Nationals franchise record for most consecutive regular season starts in which a pitcher, excluding openers, allowed no more than one earned run in each start. Griffin in this game allowed one run in 7 innings, despite having just 2 strikeouts and despite giving up 8 hits, which were 3 doubles and 5 singles. He did issue just 1 walk, and he did throw a lot of strikes, 97 pitches, 65 strikes, just 32 balls. You look at Foster Griffin in this regular season, 20 games, all starts, ERA of 2.68, whip of 1.03. He is killing it. He is on a 1-year contract in this, his age 30 season. What incredibly is his rookie season. He spent the last 3 seasons pitching in Japan. And what is so hard to determine right now is, okay, are these the dying days of Griffin being with the Nats because they're about to trade him prior to the 2026 MLB trade deadline, which is coming up August 3rd at 6 p.m. Eastern? Or is this the beginning of Griffin being with the Nats for years to come? Or will he be with the Nats for the rest of this season and then leave the team via free agency this coming offseason? Hard to know how to feel with the greatness that we're seeing from Foster Griffin right now. I hope that the Nats sign him to a contract extension before the end of this season, but it's hard to say how likely that is. He, as a starting pitcher in his age 30 season, having the season of his life, may well want to go to the open market, to say nothing of the willingness of Nats ownership, the Lerner Group, to spend the kind of money that it will take to sign Griffin to a contract extension prior to the end of this season. The Nats relief pitching in the team winning 2 out of 3 games at the A's in West Sacramento over the weekend. Not especially good, but did feature the same position player pitching in each of the first 2 games. This was a wacky series, man. The 23-4 win at the A's late night on Friday night. 1 Nats relief pitcher and 1 Nats position player combined to allow 2 runs, 1 earned in 3 innings. Riley Cornelio tossed 2 scoreless innings with 5 swinging strikeouts versus 1 walk. Did give up a double in each inning and did throw a whopping 47 pitches over the 2 scoreless innings, although he threw 32 strikes versus just 15 balls. And Nats third baseman / second baseman Jorbit Bibas allowed 2 runs, 1 earned in 1 inning in pitching the bottom of the 9th. The 15-1 loss at the A's late night on Saturday night. 2 Nats relief pitchers and 1 Nats position player combined to allow 7 runs in 2 innings. As yes, the Nats bad bullpen struck again. Max Kranick in his Nats debut officially allowed 5 runs in 2/3 of an inning. He would ended up being a 6-run 7th for the A's, gave up a home run and 2 singles and issued 2 walks and a wild pitch. Carson Palmquist officially allowed 1 run and 1/3 of an inning. He and that Athletics 6-run 7th faced 3 batters but got just 1 out as he, to the first batter he faced, issued a 2-out hit by pitch at Tyler Soderstrom to load the bases and then gave up a 2-out first pitch opposite field, 3-run double by Shea Langoliers to right field on a high fly ball that was misplayed by right fielder James Wood near the short outfield wall. And Wood earlier in the inning committed a fielding error. This was not a good series for James Wood. And then we got more Jorbit Bibas. He allowed 1 run in 1 inning in pitching the bottom of the 8th. And he, in the top of the 9th, plated the Nats' lone run of the game. Had a 1-out first pitch RBI sac fly to cut the Nats deficit to 15-1. Bibas in this game was the Nats starting third baseman, then moved to second base, and then pitched. And the 5-2 win at the A's on Sunday, 2 Nats relief pitchers combined to allow 1 run in 2 innings. Although with 4 strikeouts versus 1 walk, Tom Cosgrove tossed 2/3 of a scoreless inning with 2 strikeouts. He, in the bottom of the 8th, faced 4 batters as he retired each of the first 2 batters via strikeout, but then gave up back-to-back 2-out singles. Clayton Beeter allowed 1 run in 1 1/3 innings, but he generated 2 strikeouts and got the save. But maybe most notable with Nats relief pitching over the weekend were a bunch of roster moves, including a key reliever going on the 15-day injured list. The Nats on Sunday afternoon announced having placed relief pitcher P.J. Poulin on the 15-day injured list, retroactive to July 16th, due to a left flexor strain. This is significant. Poulin, in this regular season in which the Nats have so embraced the opener strategy, has been the Nats' number one opener and also has been one of their better late-inning relievers. Now, yes, that's not saying much, but still, Poulin being out, not good. A left flexor strain, not good. Can be a precursor to needing UCL surgery. Also, the Nats on Sunday afternoon announced having transferred relief pitcher Richard Lovelady to the 60-day injured list. He had been on the 15-day injured list since June 29th. He's recovering from a left tricep strain, but he clearly is going to be out for a while. And the Nats on Sunday afternoon announced having signed relief pitcher Matt Crook to a major league contract and having activated him. So he's already back. The Nats this past Tuesday afternoon, July 14th, announced that Crook, who the Nats on July 12th announced as having designated for assignment, had cleared outright waivers, had been assigned outright to AAA Rochester, but also had opted to declare free agency in lieu of accepting the assignment to AAA Rochester, as was his right as a player with a prior outright assignment. So the bullpen shuffling by Nats President of Baseball Operations Paul Taboni continues, but the Nats now have a lot of relievers on injured list. Brad Lord, P.J. Poulin, Richard Lovelady, Mitchell Parker, Ken Waldachuk. Each of 5 Nats relievers is on an injured list right now. Waldachuk is done for the season. Parker appears likely to be done for the season. Next up for the Nats is a 3-game series at the Colorado Rockies. The Nats have listed the following starting pitchers as probables for the series. Game 1 Monday night at 8:40, Andrew Alvarez. Game 2 Tuesday night at 8:40, Miles Michaelis. Game 3 Wednesday afternoon at 3:10, Cade Cavalli. Life insurance. You and your family hopefully never need it, but not having it can make a tragic situation even worse. We have a family friend who lost her husband to cancer. Him not having life insurance made the ensuing years even more difficult. Well, Ethos makes getting life insurance fast and easy, 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. There's no medical exam. You'll just answer a few simple health questions. You can get up to $3 million in coverage. Some policies are as low as $30 a month. You'll get your lowest rate from Ethos' network of trusted carriers. And know this, Ethos has a rating of 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot with over 4,000 reviews. Take 10 minutes today to get covered with life insurance through Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/Al Galdi. That's ethos.com/Al Galdi. Ethos.com/Al Galdi. Application times may vary. Rates may vary. Trustpilot rating as of June 1st, 2025. The Baltimore Orioles, they in MLB's 2026 regular season have gone from not having had a winning streak of at least 4 games to now having a 7-game winning streak, and now are 49-51, just 2 games under 500 and just 2 games behind the Boston Red Sox for the American League's 3rd of 3 wildcard spots. And next up for the O's is a 3-game series at the Red Sox. More on that in a bit. But the O's began the post-All-Star break portion of their season by sweeping a 3-game series at the Houston Astros over the weekend. Friday night, a 3-2 win at the Astros in a game in which the O's overcame a 2-1 8th-inning deficit by scoring 2 runs in the top of the 8th. Saturday, a 4-2 11th-inning win at the Astros, and Sunday afternoon, a 5-2 win at the Astros. So the O's in this regular season have gone from 42-51 to 49-51. The run differential now is at -13. The Astros in this regular season now are 47-54 with a run differential of -53. The Astros are not good, but the O's in this regular season at last are making a run. I had said that the O's desperately needed to do this. Well, they now are doing this. Now, before we go any further, the bad injury luck for the O's is not stopping. Samuel Basallo, he on Sunday afternoon was the Orioles starting catcher and number 5 batter. He went 0 for 1 and left the game due to right shoulder discomfort, and replacing him was not catcher Adley Rutschman, but catcher Sam Huff. Rutschman did not play in this game. He was dealing with left wrist discomfort. The O's on Sunday afternoon announced having selected the contract of Sam Huff from AAA Norfolk. So here we now have each member of the Orioles' dynamic catching duo, Adley Rutschman and Samuel Basallo, dealing with an ailment. Hopefully neither is serious. The number one reason for the Orioles' 7-game winning streak is their starting pitching. It's a funny deal. The O's began this regular season with, on paper, their best starting pitching rotation to begin a regular season in years. The starting pitching early in the regular season was a big-time disappointment, but the starting pitching lately has been really good. And we, over the weekend, got major Orioles starting pitching news. The O's on Saturday afternoon announced that starting pitcher Kyle Bradish had agreed on a 5-year contract extension for the 2027 through 2031 seasons, his age 30 through age 34 seasons. He had been under team control through the 2028 season. The contract extension is a 5-year contract extension reportedly worth $90 million. And this is a really interesting extension. The O's have given a big money contract extension to a starting pitcher as he goes into his 30s. That is risky. But Bradish is good, and it's not like this is some monstrosity of a contract. A 5-year, $90 million deal in today's MLB is big money, but not overwhelming money. Works out to an average annual value, an AAV, of $18 million. This extension does mark the most money in a contract given by the team to a pitcher in franchise history, as the O's, under controlling owner David Rubenstein, do continue to spend. MLB owners on March 27th, 2024, one day before 2024 opening day, unanimously approved the sale of the Orioles from the Angelos family to a group led by private equity billionaire David Rubenstein. Also prominent in the group is private equity billionaire Mike Arrighetti. There had been complaints that Rubenstein wasn't spending enough on players. Those complaints now look ridiculous. 4 of the 7 most lucrative contracts in Orioles franchise history have been signed over the last 11 months. So the O's this past August 22nd announced having signed catcher Samuel Basallo to a contract extension, which reportedly was an 8-year, $67 million contract extension. And the O's signed him to this contract extension just 5 days after the team last August 17th announced having selected his contract from AAA Norfolk. The O's this past December 11th announced having agreed with free agent first baseman Pete Alonso on a 5-year contract reportedly worth $155 million. The O's this past March 27th announced having agreed with starting pitcher Shane Baz on a 5-year contract extension reportedly worth $68 million. And the O's did this extension before he made a single regular season appearance for them. And we now have this 5-year contract extension for Kyle Bradish. Yes, the O's over the last 2 seasons, 2025 and 2026, have been very disappointing. But also, yes, the O's in David Rubenstein have a controlling owner who is willing to spend big. And that is a very good thing. As for the Orioles starting pitching and them sweeping this 3-game series at the Astros over the weekend, the 3-2 win at the Astros on Friday night, Dean Kramer allowed 2 runs in 4 innings, gave up 4 hits, which were a double and 3 singles. He issued 3 walks, did record 5 strikeouts, but all of this added up to him over his mere 4 innings, throwing 83 pitches, 51 strikes, 32 balls. Dean Kramer at the major league level in this regular season, 5 games, all starts, ERA of 4.15, whip of 1.12. The 4-2 11-inning win at the Astros on Saturday. Trevor Rogers was good for a 7th time in 8 outings, off having been bad in each of 7 consecutive outings. He allowed 1 run in 6 1/3 innings with 8 strikeouts versus 1 walk. He gave up 7 hits, all of which were singles. He threw a lot of strikes, 99 pitches, 72 strikes, just 27 balls. Trevor Rogers in this regular season, 18 games, all starts, ERA of 4.28, whip of 1.30, but Rogers since the start of June has been great. He, for the month of June, had an ERA of 2.05 over 5 starts. He, in this month of July, has an ERA of 1.04 over 3 starts. And the 5-2 win at the Astros on Sunday afternoon, Brandon Young continued his breakout season. He allowed 1 run in 7 innings with 7 strikeouts versus 1 walk. He gave up just 5 hits, which were 2 doubles and 3 singles. He threw a good number of strikes, 95 pitches, 62 strikes, 33 balls. Brandon Young now in this regular regular season at the major league level. 16 games, all starts, ERA of 3.25, whip of 1.31. The Orioles relief pitching and them sweeping this 3-game series at the Astros over the weekend was very good. The 3-2 win at the Astros on Friday night. 5 Orioles relievers, Anthony Nunez, Grant Wolfram, Cam Sanders, Andrew Kittredge, and Tyler Wells combined for 5 scoreless innings, despite having just 3 strikeouts versus 6 walks and a hit by pitch. So there was some good luck involved here, but still 5 Orioles relievers combining for 5 shutout innings. Cam Sanders retired each of the 2 batters he faced, came into the game in the bottom of the 7th with the bases loaded, 1 out, and the O's down 2-1, and he generated a cold strikeout of the Astros' number 3 batter, Isaac Paredes, and then induced a foul out by the Astros' number 4 batter, former Orioles prospect Christian Walker. The O's last Monday morning, July 13th, announced having traded cash considerations to the Pittsburgh Pirates for Sanders and announced having optioned him to AAA Norfolk, and the O's this past Friday afternoon, July 17th, announced having recalled Sanders from AAA Norfolk. Then came Saturday, the 4-2 11-inning win at the Astros. 5 Orioles relievers, Rico Garcia, Ynier Cano, Tyler Wells, Andrew Kittredge, and Cam Sanders combined to allow 1 run, which was unearned in 4 2/3 innings, and Cam Sanders came through again. He tossed a perfect bottom of the 11th for the save, but the O's on Sunday afternoon announced having optioned Sanders to AAA Norfolk and announced having transferred closer Ryan Helsley to the 60-day injured list. And I do want to hone in on that. Bad news on Ryan Helsley. The O's on July 3rd announced having put him on the 15-day injured list, retroactive to June 30th due to right elbow discomfort. This off him having been on the 15-day injured list from May 1st, retroactive to April 29th to June 16th due to right elbow inflammation. And now the O's have transferred him to the 60-day injured list. I mean, his season may be over. We'll see. I hope not, but it's hard not to have that thought. And the Orioles' previous closer, Felix Bautista, he remains on the 60-day injured list. He's been on that since February 20th. He, this past August 19th, underwent surgery to repair a torn right rotator cuff and torn right labrum. The O's last August 20th, in announcing the surgery, said that he was expected to be out for 12 months. So we are approaching that 12-month mark. You do wonder if we might see Felix Bautista, the man known as the Mountain, coming to the rescue for the O's this season in terms of that closer role. The 5-2 win at the Astros on Sunday afternoon. 2 Orioles relievers combined to allow 1 run in 2 innings. Rico Garcia allowed 1 run in 1 inning. He, in the bottom of the 8th, gave up a leadoff homer by Jose Altuve to left field to cut the Orioles' lead to 5-2. Garcia, in the inning, also committed a throwing error on a win-out infield single. But Grant Wolfram tossed a perfect bottom of the 9th for the save. Now, the Orioles' offense and them sweeping this 3-game series at the Astros over the weekend was nothing special, but was good enough. The pitching very much led the way in this series, but the O's did have some timely hits and did make what you call winning plays, and that has been lacking with this Orioles team these last 2 seasons. Winning plays, clutch moments, winning time moments, as Washington Commanders head coach Dan Quinn likes to say. The 3-2 win at the Astros on Friday night. The O's just 3 runs, just 5 hits, which were a home run, a double, and 3 singles, 13 strikeouts. So the O's did draw 4 walks and did go 1 for 3 with runners in scoring position. Big home run from Taylor Ward. He is the Orioles starting left fielder and number 3 batter. Went 1 for 3 with a 2-run homer and a walk. Ward in the Orioles' 2-run 8th had a first pitch 2-run homer to left center field for a 3-2 Orioles lead. The 4-2 11-inning win at the Astros on Saturday. The O's total just 5 hits, which were a double and 4 singles, and the O's struck out 15 times, but the O's worked 6 walks and went 4 for 15 with runners in scoring position. Tyler O'Neill came off the bench to pinch hit and play right field. He went 1 for 2 with a clutch RBI single and had a clutch outfield assist. O'Neill, in the bottom of the 10th, had a huge outfield assist in throwing out Nick Allen at home for a 9-2 double play with the bases loaded, no outs, and the game tied at 2. What a play that was by O'Neill. And O'Neill in the Orioles' 2-run 11th had a 2-out full count opposite field hustle RBI infield single to the right side of the infield for a 3-2 Orioles lead. And the 5-2 win at the Astros on Sunday afternoon. The O's scored 5 runs on just 6 hits, which were a home run, a double, and 4 singles. Also, the O's went just 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position and struck out 10 times. But the O's drew 7 walks and 4 hit by pitches. Kobe Mayo, he has the Orioles starting third baseman and number 8 batter, went 2 for 4 with a solo single homer and a single. Mayo in the Orioles' one-run sixth had a leadoff opposite field homer to right field for a 5-1 Orioles lead. The homer came off lefty Astros relief pitcher Brian King. As Mayo continues to annihilate left-handed pitching, Kobe Mayo for this regular season now has an OPS versus left-handed pitching of 1,115. This as he has an OPS versus right-handed pitching of just 455. Incredible platoon splits. Gunnar Henderson, he is the Orioles starting shortstop and number one batter, went 1 for 4 with an RBI single, a steal of home, and a hit by pitch. Henderson in the Orioles' two-run third had an opposite field RBI single to left field for 1-0 Orioles lead despite having been down in the count at 1.02 and had a steal of home on a double steal on which Pete Alonso stole second base. That was nice, although Henderson's OPS for this regular season still is so low, now is at just 682. But the O's swept the series 7-game winning streak. Also with the O's over the weekend, they on Saturday afternoon announced having signed the player who they, the previous Saturday afternoon, July 11th, took with the number 7 overall pick in the 2026 MLB first-year player draft, outfielder Eric Booth Jr. out of a high school in Mississippi. And so next up for the O's is a massive 3-game series at the Boston Red Sox, who are on fire. 13 consecutive wins, including a 4-game sweep of the American League East leading Tampa Bay Rays at Fenway Park in Boston this past Friday through Sunday. The Orioles at the Red Sox, the two hottest teams in MLB. The O's have listed the following starting pitchers as probables for the series. Game 1, Monday night at 7:10, Shane Baz. Game 2, Tuesday night at 7:10, Kyle Bradish. Game 3, Wednesday night at 7:10, Dean Kramer. And that'll do it for you and me for now, but there's more to come. Tuesday's show, episode 1370. We'll have plenty for you on the Washington Commanders. Also on Tuesday's show, we'll talk Washington Nationals and Baltimore Orioles. The Nats are at the Colorado Rockies Monday night at 8:40 for Game 1 of a 3-game series. The O's are at the Boston Red Sox Monday night at 7:10 for Game 1 of a 3-game series. Have a great rest of your Monday, and I'll talk to you on Tuesday.
He ain't going to the Commanders. Not Aiyuk. It's done. It's over. Stick a fork in it. 0% chance. He ain't going. I want Stefon Diggs. I like Diggs. Do we got problems off the field? Yeah, I mean, he just like to mess with women all the time. That's okay. You just don't let it become a problem. But on the field, I'm taking him.